Great day, great day, great day. We're back at it like we never left. We had some interesting conversation earlier today about, college experience and things of that nature. And now we got some, what do you call them, inquiries? People that may want to be a guest on the show. What you think about that? A guest?
It's going to be big.
And I think I had a couple of people that tapped in and said, come on, man, when can I be invited into the show? I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't even... Yeah, I ain't thinking all the way through, right? But I think that's cool, the people that's paying attention to us and, helping us grow this thing that we call the Corey Webster Experience and willing to add and create and collaborate so the people can have some good information, good content as well, but things that they can hang their hat on. So, what do you think should be the criteria of people coming on the show? And also, what do you think the criteria is to be or should be when we collaborate with others or go on other people's platform or when we are invited to other people's platform? What do you think we should do? How we should hold them up to, how should we meet them and hold to their standard? And how do we allow them to, match our level of energy? What are we looking for?
Definitely authentic people.
I like authentic.
Yeah, someone who's real with themselves.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. Real, authentic, organic, honest.
Yeah.
I'm cool with having a portion of entertainment in it as well. True. But even more importantly, I want to, what we call empower. I want them to be able to learn from, our success, our mishaps. So empower. Motivate. We had a thing called that, right? MIE. Mm-hmm. Motivate, empower. Well, motivate, inspire, empower.
Correct.
I saw you was going to flip them letters around. MIE. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that should be cool, though. Yeah, but hey, anybody have any suggestions on or any people that we may need to collaborate with or, people that you may want to see us together and have a dialogue, a discussion, let us know. Comment down below and let us know your thoughts, And we'll take it from there. Just like another beautiful day to be back. Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is the Corey Webster Experience. I am your host, Corey Webster. I am C-Web. And today we have another beautiful show from you guys. Got to start off with Cameron Brinks. I think she's... made a few headlines in the media with her whole take on how she feel about practicing with male athletes. And I don't know if it was the whole thing about practicing with male athletes or how the Los Angeles Sparks went about advertising it, because they had a flyer that they put out. And the flyer had, it's a group of them. It's, about 4 or 5 attractive, healthy, athletic young ladies. And the flyer said, I'm paraphrasing. You got the flyer? Pull up a flyer. The flyer said, come out and train and try out to be a male practice player with the Los Angeles Sparks. And this ain't what I do, but I know somebody. The first place they go when they see a post put out is the comments. And the comments be livid. Or they be live. They be lit. So some of the comments, they had some guys in there saying, ooh, I would love to let her post me up or back me down. Or yeah. Karen was like, none of that. I ain't blocking out nobody. I'm not, coach going to be on me behind. Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. So, but I say this, it's kind of normal, this has been going on for a while. Male athletes, I don't know if, I know in college, I don't know if they have a tryout. Guys may have played like former high school ball or, previous levels of basketball, and they normally try out to come practice with the female teams. And I don't even know if they do it on the male side. I don't know if they just use younger players or, scout players or walk-on players to do it on the male side. But I know females been doing it for a while, so I do understand what this young lady is talking about, though. You put out a flyer to advertise for it, man, some HR department gonna have to do some major, program development when it comes to how you handle these situations, because these are some young ladies that are, who are the young ladies on there? Yeah, I know it's 4 of them. I know it's Kelsey Plum, Branks,
and 2 other young ladies. I'm not sure.
And 2 other young ladies. Yeah. They had some big trades from the Los Angeles Sparks just because Kelsey Plum was with Las Vegas Aces the past season, so she's just coming over from I say this. I understand that practice against because I think South Carolina does it. I know LSU did it. I don't know if they still do it. A lot of teams does it. UConn, they do it as well. But this is normal. But what I would say is, it's all dependent on the people that you are rearing. Are you developing? And who's at the helm when it comes to leadership for both sides of it. What I mean by that is, who's the coach? Who's your head coach? Because whoever is spearheading this, just like they did a great job of evaluating and bringing in recruits, this is no different. It has to be under the same type of scrutiny to make sure you get the right individuals in there that is here to help these individuals, right? First thing, you want people that understand how to practice, because you're here not to compete against them. You're here to help them improve their skills. So I like to call it you're servicing them. And in servicing them, you have to have a level of understanding of how to practice, how to move around on the court, as well as be emotionally stable and intelligent to know that I'm helping these young ladies. I don't want to put them in harm's way, and that's mentally, physically, yes, emotionally, or jeopardize any area of their life, to harm their growth. We're here to allow these young ladies to work against maybe a stronger person, maybe a faster, a quicker person. And, when you get adjusted to that type of speed, you can play at a high level, So we're trying to get an edge. But I would say I done been in some of these environments. And the leader is important, meaning whoever the head coach is, whoever is surrounding these individuals, whether it's men or women. Because I've been brought out to, and it may sound crazy, but I've been, in those situations and felt like I was violated. I ain't gonna lie. Felt like I was violated. Felt like the young women that I was working with and trying to, give that edge to, I felt like they was violating me a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. I felt like they was, I done played at a high level, so I know how to put myself in good position. I know how, but I felt, like, you know what? And I only did it that one time, and that was it. You know what? Maybe I don't need to be back here. Maybe this is not, not the thing for me. So I understand what that young lady's talking about. I think she was on the podcast with, who's the young lady she was with?
Sadell Curry.
Sadell, okay. So yeah, they family some way, somehow, like God siblings or something like that. I don't know if godfathers or her dad or maybe, I don't know. But I know they're some type of God siblings in that way. So anyway, we have to be mindful, especially, both sides of it. What individual we're bringing in here to be around our players, because sometimes bringing in the wrong individuals can be and do more harm than good, and we don't want that for them. So shout out to her for speaking out to even be, intelligent enough to understand, like, this might not be the best thing. The flyer might not be the best thing. She talked about that they normally just use the same individuals that help, I think, UCLA or USC. So, maybe you just go back to doing that. Don't put a flyer out. You never know who you get and what kind of system you have to evaluate and, keep out the riffraff. So, moving on. What we got today? I know you wanted to talk about some NCAA. We got some games going on today. We starting with the men or the women? Who we starting with?
The men.
Did you fill out your bracket? Because if you ain't filled it out, I think you got to when today.
Yes, my bracket will be completed by the end of business day.
Now are you going to win?
Definitely.
Come on, somebody had me. It's a bust. It's just a matter of time. When will it bust? Have anybody ever won this? Do you know?
I do not know that.
Yeah, I know, but I know a lot of people have that. You can fill out your bracket at your somewhere on the internet, and you can be put in the pot to win almost $1 million or something like that for a perfect bracket.
Nice.
It's just a matter of time when it's gonna break. Who's gonna break it? Who's gonna be the team? So we got a couple of games going on tonight. What's the game that's going on tonight? Alabama State versus St. Francis University.
Yes.
You picking anybody or you just reading it? You got Texas versus Xavier. I think Texas should be able to get over Xavier. Not to say Xavier hasn't been playing decent ball, but I think with the level of competition that they had in the SEC, it should, have them a little battle tested when it comes to, this game right here. And who else you got? You got America versus Mount St. Mary's, and then San Diego State versus North Carolina. I think North Carolina's a little hungry, but San Diego State ain't no slouch. They was just in the Final Four a few years ago, if I'm not mistaken. I can see that happening to maybe one or two teams this year. Mm-hmm. You have a team like Yale, if I'm not mistaken, Ivy League school, that, if I'm not mistaken, beat Auburn last year in the NCAA tournament, right? So they gotta be feeling, a bit good about themselves, And they have why I talk about those teams, because those guys have, 4-year players, 5-year players, right? And in these type of games right here, that level of experience matched with the strength that you get from being in college for 4 to 5 years, as far as being on a strength and conditioning regimen for that long, I think that's a recipe for success. Especially those guys have been playing together a while. Now when you look at Duke, those guys look like they have been playing together for years. But I think that's just a testament to the development and the coaching staff down there, how fast they could get all these guys on the same page, and how they could be unselfish, and how they could, step up and help each other and grow with one another. But I don't see that everywhere, that quick. I think we're seeing it with Duke that quick. And I think everybody's watching to see, how they fare in the tournament, because I think they're maybe not the number 1 overall seed, but I think a lot of people have them being the team picked to win this. They have a lot of young talent with, led by a young phenom freshman, Cooper Flag. I like to say all the time. I used to mess up his name, right? I used to always want to mistake him with the receiver, right?
Correct.
But Cooper Flag and, those guys over there, I think they're gelling together. I know he's injured right now, but I think they stepped up in a major way when he went down, and they was like, hey, we all train over here like we starters. And one man down, other people got to step up, whether it's by committee or whether it's one person. And I think I can see this being used as a positive, him missing time. I think that makes them stronger going into the tournament, especially if they could get him back healthy and be able to be who he was before the injury. Basketball, you turn an ankle sometimes, that happens often, what I mean? So I would like to say Duke got a pretty good strength and conditioning, a training table. They're going to, a training staff, they're going to get him back out there well. Any upsets you see early on, it's a lot of games. You got Auburn, Alabama State. They're going to play the winner between Alabama State and St. Francis. So I'm not going to lie. Auburn lost, I think, 3 of their last 4 games or 4 of the last 5 games. I just don't see, even though they play in a very talented SEC, and SEC has almost what?
14 total.
Yeah.
And that's combined with the men and the women.
No.
14 men's?
I think
teams?
Now you gotta look it up. You the fact lady. And I think the women has 10.
Well, I know the two who are not in there on the men's side.
I asked you that.
LSU.
I didn't ask you who wasn't in it. I didn't ask you who wasn't in it. I just asked for the
And
numbers.
South Carolina
Stick to the main
men.
thing. Now, when you see when the fact checking go wrong, I didn't ask you who wasn't in it.
You were right. Yes, 14 out of 16.
I didn't ask you who wasn't in it. I just
Men.
asked how many SEC teams was in it.
LSU is not,
Trying to get personal.
and South Carolina men.
Trying to get personal. Wait till we get to this women bracket over here. Yeah, wait till we get to the women bracket over here. Yeah, you trying to get personal. Yeah, so I just think that I feel like Auburn could be the number one team that's very shaky. And again, last year it was the number one team they lost to Yale. Not to say Yale no slouch, but they lost. I just see them not being consistent. I see a few players over there that can be triggered. That's not emotional, intelligently enough to get them through. I think what we call this bracket play, you know what I mean? Because things gonna happen and you have to be able to keep your composure. I think they gotta call nobody out because they're kids, you know what I mean? But they got a couple of players that gonna have to understand that. And I think it has cost them in the past. So hopefully they have learned from that and they can move forward going to this bracket. But I see teams like Gonzaga, right? I don't think they're as, you know how we say the word gritty? Mm-hmm. Because I don't want to call anybody soft or anything like that, you know what I mean? And now that I say it, don't sound good, you know what I mean? But I don't think they have been as gritty this year of a team that they have had in the past. Okay. You know, in the past, they had some teams that, you know, get after it a little bit, you know, do the dirty work, right? I think, you know, because they had those teams like that in the past, it attracted people, but they're not getting that same type of play out of these people, you know, the 50-50 balls, the stuff that, you know, you can't really put on a stat sheet, you know, diving on the floor behind a loose ball, somebody being willing or everybody being willing to be a defender, to get a rebound, to do things that don't show up on the stat sheet. I don't see them as being that. So I think that's what's hurting them a little bit. But I think, you know, they still got teams like UConn. I think I see a couple of teams in here that have a double-digit ranking by their name that might can be, you know, Elite Eight, maybe potential Final Four appearances. I'm not going to call out nobody in particular. That's for my bracket and my bracket alone, right? Because I know I'm going to have the perfect bracket. Mm-hmm. I already know. So any predictions on who make it to the Final Four? You give us that? Or any prediction on who winning it starts? Come on, game start. Come on, people want to know.
I'll keep it a secret for now.
Who?
A secret.
That's the deodorant, right? Mm-hmm. We got to get an advertisement before you start calling them out. Huh? St. John's is another team that's playing well. I don't know. They're number 2 seed. I feel it interesting that, you know, Rick Pitino had a whole lot of scandal and stuff going on. And he kind of disappeared. Went to a professional league for a little while, went to a smaller school for a little while, and now he just popped up back at St. John. Again, they're doing well, but nobody's talking about that scandal they had going on with this recruiting and the madam and all that. They got a book out. Y'all go look it up. All this is alleged because I wasn't there. I didn't hold the light. But his name was surrounding those very important facts. In the men's division, I'm definitely going to be looking out for McNeese State. McNeese State is coached by Will Wade. Will Wade was at LSU. He was just a year or two ahead of the NIL. He was doing things that would be, that's crazy. That's what one of our guests talked about, or one of our potential guests. Mm-hmm. He said, man, we living in a world right now where the things that were illegal is being praised today. And he was referring to the NIL. And Will Wade was one of those guys that, wow, right on the cusp of it being legal, you know, he lost his job basically.
But he was a forward thinker.
Hey, innovator, some would say.
Yeah.
Innovator. That's what some would say. But the NCAA said that's illegal. And they fired him, LSU. But he's at McNeese State, which is in Louisiana, Lake Charles. Shout out Lake Charles. Mm-hmm. And they're making an appearance. You know what I mean? What you think?
I'm a root for the home team.
And that's what you're doing?
Yes.
Yeah, now they've been playing well. Been playing, great defense. It's scoring about 77 points per game. But the defense, holding the team under 70 points. They're holding them right at 64 points a game. That's awesome. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see if they can get that done in the championship. Maybe they could be a Cinderella story, huh?
Correct.
You never know. So who is LSU going to show up in NIT? Because you talked about my team. Are we going to NIT? I know we didn't make the big dance, but are we going to start for next year?
Start next year, what, training?
Recruiting, training.
Y'all should.
You should. That's what it is, huh?
Mm-hmm. Y'all should.
Well, look like Matt needs to be holding the state down this year.
Let's go.
So look out for McNeese, what number one team, I'm going to ask you? Auburn, Florida, 2 SEC schools, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Duke.
Houston.
Houston. Which number one team you think may be iffy, first to lose?
Maybe Auburn.
Maybe Auburn?
Mm-hmm.
You know who's in Auburn division? Let me see. Yeah, they got a few. I'm not too sold on Michigan yet. I think Michigan might be the first to get upset. I ain't gonna lie to you. But yeah, they got Louisville over there. They got Texas A&M. They have Yale. They have Ole Miss. Potentially San Diego State or North Carolina. Iowa State started off real hot. They was looking like they was going to be a top contender, maybe a number one seed. It kind of got rocky for them. I think they lost two of their top scorers, and they got kind of rocky for them, and they hadn't bounced back from them. But you never know. Maybe they healing up, getting healthy, playing some great ball at the right time. So you never know. So you think Auburn going to be the one, right? Yeah, Auburn got, you never know when you don't have that consistency. Yeah, but yeah, man, it's a lot. It's a lot. Wow, it's a lot.
It is.
Because I look at, McNeese versus Clemson. Shout out Chad. I know Chad want Clemson to win. But I think whoever went out of those two can potentially, make it to the Sweet 16. Mm-hmm. Just being honest. I know they got Purdue over there with them. But Sweet 16, they could either potentially meet a Gonzaga or Georgia. I think Gonzaga, Georgia, that's going to be a good game. Right. And, Houston's over there. Houston plays some great defense. I like the defense that they play. Swarming defense. They like to, hedge very hard. Pause. They like to, trap the screener and stuff like that, double team. And they know how to help the helper. For all young athletes out there, we talk about one pass, two pass. The next level is being able to help the helper. That's the next level. Look that up. Anyway, we ain't going to hold you too long, man. I think it's going to be a very interesting and I think we're going to have a lot of great games in the men's division. But, we ain't going to overtalk the men's division. Let's slide over to these women because these females look like, man, like they trying to make some noise. Who you got in these females? I know you like Dawn Staley and her SEC.
You already know.
Yeah, team, they defending champs. But if you look closely, are you looking closely?
Jags are there.
SU.
Ooh.
SSSSSSU.
Yes.
Now I ain't gonna tell you how y'all used to finish that off. I'm gonna leave it there. But now they have a playing game, right? They playing who? San Diego State. UC San Diego. They also that's at UCLA.
Correct.
So the winner gets who? Dun 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 dun. UCLA. UCLA had to get They had to get their lick back against USC because USC had beat them twice, but they ended up beating USC in the championship game. It's hard to beat a team 3 times, but I think the women have a lot of great teams in there. 10 SEC teams in the women division. I think some teams that we got to watch out for is, I mean, obviously, you know, the USC, UCLA, definitely defending champs. Nobody take off the defending champ before they knock them off. You always got to be on the lookout for them. But some teams that I think could make some defending champ I'm talking about is South Carolina, led by one of my favorite players. Yeah, she's my favorite player, I ain't gonna lie. But you got Texas there. You know, a lot of good coaches. But even in the midst of me, I'm watching out for TCU.
Yes.
You know, led by Van Litt. Kentucky, you know, they got the transfers coach as well from Virginia Tech. I like Duke, you know, led by former SEC Tennessee Volunteer. Her name Lawson. Yes. She's over there leading the Duke Blue Devils women's team. I like it, you know what I mean? Vanderbilt have a young core over there. I think, I forget the young lady's name, but she done had a couple of 40-pointers. I think in 150-pointer.
Is she a freshman?
Definitely a freshman, yes. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see how this thing all shape up. But I think at the end of the day, you can't. I know we sitting there talking about women's, and we haven't mentioned, UConn, the Huskies. Come on. Paige Bucket. You know, they played well. I saw them play against a South Carolina team, if I'm not mistaken. Beat South Carolina. I think South Carolina has so much depth. They got, what her name is? Asia, I forget her name. I don't want to mess up her name. She's the guard for South Carolina. She comes off the bench, and I don't want to butcher her name.
Malaysia Fulwale.
See, I didn't want to do it to Malaysia. I didn't want to do it to you. But she comes off the bench, and she's, you know, she played with speed. She can get to the cup. She's a 3-level scorer. She also plays the passing lane very well. She defends well. So I just like the pace, because the game can be set at a pace, and sometimes just as a team, you get set in that pace of the game, right? I'm talking about the opposing team, right? You settle in, you like, this is the speed, right? And you may be going back and forth with them, you know, score, I'm going to give up, you know, score might be 12, 10, and you're like, okay, this is going to be the pace, right? Then you get a timeout, she sub in, and it goes from here to another level. And she's pushing the ball down the court. She's playing with pace. She's stopping. She's going. She's defending real well. And I think some teams have a problem adjusting to that type of pace that she plays with. But she's a beautiful addition when she comes in. They complement her well. They're missing one of their bigs. She got hurt. She was out for the season. So I think they're going to be motivated to get it done without her, but also, you know, defend their championship. But I think they got a lot of teams. Juju, she just passed Caitlin Clark, who phenomenal player. She just passed her as in a 2-year span in scoring and things of that nature. She's now the number 2 scorer in the conference behind the guard from Notre Dame. So Juju going to make a name for herself. And what better time to do it in March in NCAA women's tournament bracket play, right? Getting her team, you know, deep into the bracket. Hey, didn't know how it felt last year. They got there. It didn't go great because they didn't win it. It was only one winner. So it'd be interesting to see. UCLA, you know, they're going to have something to say about it. Texas, they trying to, you know, go back and right their wrongs, and they think that they play in one of the best conferences, which is the SEC, so they're going to, you know, come out firing. So it'd be interesting to see how this all make up. I got to go with, if I had to say anybody, I'm going to let you go first. Ladies always go first. Who you got taking the women's bracket? Because you didn't give us nothing for the men's. And how far do you have Southern University, ASU going? Can they knock off? They wear the same colors. Can they knock off UC, San Diego, and then go into UCLA and knock off the number 1 team?
It's a possibility.
True indeed. Could that be the Cinderella story? They wear the same colors with UCLA too. Mm-hmm. You know? So how far you got your Jaguars going in this bracket? because that can make or break or bust your bracket early on. You know, that's the thing, right? When people start picking with their emotions or where their loyalty lie, how do you pick? How do you overcome that? I don't have that, because you said one of my teams are not in it. I'm not going to say their name again in the boys division. But how do you overcome getting your bracket correct?
Like I said, don't let your blood pressure rise where you have to be on meds behind the bracket.
Behind the bracket.
It's fun. Just cheer on, be positive about everybody playing on both sides. And let's just see what the Jags do. I'm gonna say they might get up to Sweet 16.
Now, my guy from the Y, I got a basketball guy that we hoop with at the Y. He would say that is the politically correct answer. he is sitting on that is a media trained answer. I don't think the fans, our good followers that tune in, I don't think they got the answer that they're looking for. That's just my opinion. You would like to answer that again? You have a redo?
No, I would say
we
have to continue to be positive for the men and the women, because everybody wants to leave the champion. So you have made it thus far. So just be grateful, and we're going to just cheer everyone on and see what happens.
Yep, I would say she had a second chance. It's very well media trained. So, hey, be mindful of the podcasters and these shows that you're listening to, because some people are more media trained than others, and they know how to give the politically correct answer. But hopefully you guys have fun. You got something from this. Stay tuned, man. It's be interesting. Let us know how you guys are, going with your brackets. Chime in. Are you doing a bracket? Do you even care? Who's your favorite player? Women's, men's? Do you have a certain team taking it off? Whatever you're doing, enjoy it with your family. Enjoy it with your loved ones. Watch the games. Stay at home, and enjoy it. It's sports. Sports is a humbling thing, but it does have a beautiful reflection of life. So take some of that good stuff from sports and roll with it, especially the positive. That's another great show. Like we always say, tune in, subscribe. More importantly, get in the comments. Let's dialogue. Let's go back and forth. And don't forget about those suggestions that I asked you guys about. Y'all have a great bracket. Play starts tonight. Enjoy the games, and we'll see you guys later.